today we're going to jump into week 2 of the Euroleague Women regular season. We're going to have a look at some of the latest news, the big stories that are breaking over the last week. We'll jump into the slate of games that are scheduled for this week. We'll also then look at my 3 games to watch, including the ones that I'm going to be doing commentary on, and then I will get off the fence again and give you my predictions, see who I can upset this week with some of my predictions. Without further ado, let's jump in and have a look at this week's latest news. So first piece of latest news to look at, and the big news this week is clearly how off the chain week 1 was here in the Euroleague Women regular season. What an amazing way to open up the season. Some huge games. Brno picking up that huge win over Olympiacos made it look like easy work. That is a big statement for them early in the season. We had Lens with that final minute mayhem for them to come away with the 1-point win. And then we had some big wins, some real statement wins as well. Valencia picking up the win against Praha in dominant fashion, as did Skio against Avenida. 2 of the teams to look out for there that I think will absolutely be in the lookout and trying to make their way through to the final 6 come April. Second big story of the week, without shadow of doubt, is Hamzova of Brno picking up the Player of the Week honours. What a way to get your first week ever in the Euroleague regular season off to a flying start. 17 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds in that historic night in Brno, taking that huge 31-point win over Olympiacos. Without shadow of a doubt, one of the strong contenders. Big performances across Euroleague Women's today, though. Last week, a huge battle for that Player of the Week honours. Hamzova gets week 1's honour under her belt, though, and excited to see where she goes from there. Next bit of latest news to look at is the WNBA finals that are underway at the moment. What's that got to do with Euroleague Women? Well, there's plenty of the Euroleague Women superstars shining brightly right now in the finals. Game 2 last night, with the Liberty coming away with an 80-66 win over the Lynx. That ties the series up 1 apiece after that. If you haven't seen it, do jump online, find the game tape and watch it. Game 1 was absolutely crazy. An unbelievable finish. Lynx down by 18, I think, with about 4 to play, coming back to win that one in overtime. Tied 1-1 there, but you look at the lineups of both teams, absolutely littered with Euroleague Women talent. You've got the likes of Stewie, Fibic, Jonquel Jones. You've got Van der Sloot. You've got a huge amount of talent in the Liberty team. As for Lynx, obviously Collier is there. Kayla McBride to McBuckets is playing. Carlton's playing. Xander Lassini's there. Yorka Uhas is there. Huge amounts of Euroleague Women talent on show in those WNBA finals. So if you are able to stay up late, please do. If not, make sure you watch the catch-up the morning after the game. I can definitely recommend it. Is a good watch and a hell of a series going on right now for the WNBA title. Okay, let's jump into the week 2 schedule. So just 2 days this week. We've got Wednesday, Thursday, more traditional setup for Euroleague Women's. We've got 5 games coming in on the Wednesday with Mersin against Brno, Fenerbahce against Zaragoza, Polkovica against Villeneuve d'Ascq, Praha Győr and DVTK Skio. Thursday, a triple header as Olympiacos take on Bourges, Avenida against Lens, and Umano Reya taking on Valencia. So here's my pick for the first one to watch, and a game that I will be covering on commentary as DVTK take on Skio. Well, what can we say about these 2 teams? Polar opposite starts really to the season. A 1-point loss for DVTK against Lens, that last minute heartbreak. But they really did struggle to get any momentum really going in that game, even though they were super close to coming away with the win. Really only Charles had a big game. She came out with a double-double of 15 points, 11 rebounds. Not a huge amount to write home about from the rest of the roster. I expect that DVTK performance this week on their home floor to be levels above where they were last week, so it could be interesting to see how they come out. As for Skio, well, they'll want business as usual. Last week they were phenomenal. Talk about team basketball. 4 players in double digits. Salon, Keys, Laxa and Verona all picking up big points, having big moments in that game. Salon, obviously, Janelle stepping up in a big way. A 24.9 rebound display and a really controlled leader type of display from Salon. Skio probably favourites for this game, but DVTK expect a bigger, better performance than last week from them. Second of my games to watch is going to be the Avenida against Lens game. Again, another one that I'm going to be covering on commentary, so make sure you tune in for that one. This one's an interesting one. Avenida coming off the back of that devastating loss last week against Skio. 34-point loss is always going to be difficult. It's going to be one of those cases where the coach is clearly going to communicate to the team, forget it, last week didn't happen. We need to just go fresh from this week. You don't want to have a hangover of a negativity from that. And realistically, offensively, they need to pick up the pace. They need to find some more scoring options. Fazula came away with 12 points. That's not a bad return coming back from injury, and she's still developing back into 100% confidence after that ACL injury that saw her pretty much out for an entire season last year. Garantes, the big arrival in the summer, didn't quite produce game one. Always going to be difficult going back to your home, your previous team on their home court for your opening Euroleague Women game for your new team. She had 10 points, which isn't bad. It's not great. It's not where they need her to be. More concerning might be the shooting percentages. She was low 30% from the field. Needs to be more efficiency, needs to be the focal point of their offense. And then other players, the likes of Valaro, Dominguez coming in and contributing around that will be a big part of that. As for Lens, 1 point win, they'll get confidence from that, particularly in the dramatic style that they won that game over DVTK. Lacan had a good game, 13 points. That's a good start from her. Destiny Slocum, just 10 points, which is not bad, but expecting more from her this season. I think the one thing I would say from Lens is I don't think they're going to win a huge amount of games if they can only score in the mid-50s. They're going to have to find a way to get more points on the board. They will lean heavily defensively. You know, that's kind of their DNA, their identity. They'll try and reduce teams and keep them in low-scoring games. But I think they're going to need to find ways to get more points on the board and find a structure that enables them to do that. The final game to watch for me is the Humana Reya against Valencia game. This one's going to be super interesting. Both of these teams coming off good wins in the opening week. Reya, 21-point win on the road in Győr. That's a real statement. The bit that I love about Reya this season is that combination of young and a little bit of experience in there as well. Primarily young. The likes of Cuyer and Villa, they are exciting prospects. They are superstars of the future that are actually superstars right now. Now, you combine that with the likes of Smalls and Pan, this is exciting. That Reya roster isn't proven necessarily. They've got players in there that are still trying to make their mark, create their brand, and be statement superstars of this league for years to come. But I think they have the potential. If they can get it all pointing in the right direction and firing on all cylinders, there is a team to look out for. There is a team that could surprise a lot of other teams this year. Combine that with the fact that they're on their home floor in week 2, this could be really exciting. However, they're going up against Valencia. For many, Valencia are the team that have really gone all in. They've pushed their chips into the middle of the table. They've brought in some massive heavyweight hitters, proven Euroleague women superstars, the likes of Mavunga, Yagapova, Casas. They've got Torrens, Fingal, Hattar. They've got Turner. They've got a ton of talent with a huge amount of experience at the highest levels in that roster. They are built to win, and they're built to win now. Reya probably built to win in the future. Valencia are here to try and win this and take it all this season. Going to be a big game. That's probably a real highlight game of the week as well. So make sure you tune in for that one. That one closes out our action on the Thursday as well. So that's the final game of week 2. Definitely worth tuning in for. Okay, the bit that I dread and love at the same time. Certainly got a lot of grief last week about some of my selections or my predictions. Love to hear about your thoughts on the predictions. Throw it in the comments, which ones you think I've got right, which ones you think I've got wrong. I'm sure you all have your own personal opinions. I was 7 from 8 last week. I'd love to go one better this week. So let's go through them. Mersin against Brno. Brno obviously had a great opening week, but I do believe that this Mersin roster is just too strong for them. However, they did have a bump in the road domestically in the midweek, so who knows, that loss against Besiktas could unsettle them something, but I still think Mersin will take this one. Next up, Fenerbahce against Zaragoza. At the moment, until proven otherwise, it's a bit difficult to bet against this Fenerbahce team. They once again have put a roster together that is stuffed full of world-class talent and are really set to be the team to beat. So I've gone Fenerbahce for that one. Polkovica against Villeneuve Dask. Polkovica steady away. I think they're a robust team. Quite a few question marks for me over Villeneuve Dask after that opening week. And again, it will come down potentially to injury situations with the French team. Are they able to fill the full roster? If so, they're going to be more competitive. If not, this could be a relatively easy win for Polkowice. Next up, Praha against Győr. I think this is the bounce back game for Praha. Back on their home floor, they'll settle after that disappointing loss on the road in week 1 against a Győr team who don't always travel so brilliantly in Euroleague Women's, and again probably seen as one of the smaller budget teams, so I think Praha will pick up the win here. DVTK against Skio. Not an easy one to pick. DVTK obviously narrowly beaten in week 1. Skio with a huge performance, but I believe Skio will continue that momentum. The confidence that they will take out of that week 1 performance will see them through here on the road and pick up a win against DVTK. Next up, this one's a tough one. Olympiacos against Bourges. I've gone for Bourges as my prediction here. Difficult to pick this one. I think Olympiacos will have a bounce back week. I think they will kind of regain some composure after that tough opening week loss. However, I think Bourges probably have a little bit more quality in there, a little bit more composure, and they're a little bit further along the path of their development as a team this season, and that will get them the win on the road. Next up, Avenida against Lond. Again, another really tough one to call. Avenida really struggled last week to find their identity, particularly offensively. It's asking for them to win this week. They're going to have to get Fazula and Garantes scoring high teens, early 20s to come away with the win. And I just feel like Lond will take a lot from that opening game. And as I keep saying, I think they've got a fairy tale. They've got a vibe about Lond this season that they're going to pick up some wins. So I'm going to go Lond here for the win on the road. That's probably the one that I think maybe most of you might disagree with. My final one, as I went through before, is a really exciting one. Raya against Valencia. 2 teams with a big week 1 performance. 2 teams with exciting rosters. Raya's built with a ton of superstars of the future as well as some current superstars. Valencia stacked, loaded to the rafters with experience and quality throughout. As such, Valencia, I think, will come away with the win. I think Raya will grow week on week and become formidable as the season progresses. But right now, Valencia, with that experience and that depth, I think will be too much for Raya in the closing game of the week. So they're my predictions, as I said. I'm sure you don't agree with all of them. Please throw it into the comments. Let me know where I'm right and where I'm completely wrong. Always fun to have those discussions with you guys. I hope you've enjoyed episode 3. Make sure you tune in this week for some exciting EuroLeague Women's games in week 2. Remember, with this new format, every game is critical. So please do tune in either on DAZN or through FIBA's official YouTube channel. Make sure you check the schedules for those games. Outside of that, I'm sure I'll catch you all soon. I'll see you courtside.